Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Walking 90. It's been exactly 2 months, 3 months. It's been a long time since we've seen y'all. It's good to be back in the saddle. I have officially stopped crying ever since Richmond lost to Chattanooga in devastating fashion, and then realized that South Georgia Tormenta and Bolt are now our overlords in USL League One. But even through that, Forward Madison has found a way how to spend a whole bunch of money. One Knox came into the league and was like, F that, we're spending more money. Lexington was like, we'll play with the kids. NCFC was like, you know what, we'll try another reboot for another year again. Greenville decided to open up a retirement home, but had to move because that retirement home closed down and went to a new retirement home. Richmond was like, we're bringing everyone back, but you know what, Stephen Payne, you can go to Madison. FC Tucson dropped out the league. One Knox is there. I mean, NOCO is there, but we don't know if they have a stadium, but they might have a stadium, but they don't have players. And even Parker tweeted about it. He's a little bit confused about it. And then all of a sudden you sit there and think about it. What is Central Valley Fuego doing? But we'll answer all those questions more on this week's episode of
we had someone decide to quit right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Where's Lexington and all of that?
Well, I said Lexington decided to play the kids because they're playing the kids.
They got their one experienced guy in Kalen Fox and said, everyone else, you're being babysat by Kalen Fox.
Yeah. Like, oh, you playing in college? Great. You can play here. Meanwhile, One Knox is like, oh, you have trophies. Here's a bag of cash.
Yes.
And NOCO is like, players. You mean we can't play with snowmen? Like, what is this? What are we doing here?
We got Irvin Parr. We're good.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me introduce my co-host. It's great to have these people back on the show. As always, to my left is a great guy that just got a new job. Shouts out to him, Mr. Kyle Carr. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. My last day at my current job is tomorrow. I'm excited to do absolutely nothing and then have 2 weeks to just have a break. So I'm enjoying life right now.
Kyle, over under on the level of give a fuck you're going to do if there is an emergency at that job tomorrow. Awesome. Just wanted to know. Joining us just below me, who literally joined the show 5 seconds before we were about to go on air, Mr. Brandon. How are you doing, buddy? Brandon's frozen. Great job. We just have him on here for the taxes. Diagonally from me is the person that secretly runs 2 Cents FC because she's on every single show and finds more ways to be more involved than me. Is Miss Eboni. How are you doing, man?
Chilling. You know, haven't scored a goal yet for NCFC, but working on it.
I mean, y'all have literally decided, you know what? We're going to do this again. We're just going to spend a bunch of money. Still haven't gotten a number 6 yet, but it's going to work out.
Just call Chattanooga. They decided we're just going to see what Chattanooga did. They went far in the playoffs. Let's just take all their players.
No, you don't need a 6 when all you're doing is shooting, okay?
Yeah, exactly what Rafa Michigan. That's all he's going to do. It's just like, defense. Did you not see me in the playoffs?
Soon needs it.
Yeah, right.
And Brandon's now unfrozen.
Oh, I'm back, I think.
You are back, Brandon.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm run on time, and then I literally just jet out. So
yeah. And for those who are wondering, Chip is at a Boys II Men concert, and I wanted to ask you guys this. Do you think Chip knows who Boys II Men are? Like, do you think he really know who they are? Or do you think he was just like, oh, cool concert, and thought it was like a rock or indie band, and then he gets there and they're like old?
No, he's old school. I think he knows who Boys II Men are. If you don't know who Boys II Men are when you have a child, something's wrong.
I think he knows of them, but I don't know if he knows songs by them. Like, he knows who they are. And it's a free ticket, so he wasn't going to say no.
I'm pretty sure he can count on one hand the number of white people at that concert. Also, why are Boys II Men in Nebraska? That's another question.
Bills need to be paid.
What is Brandon doing? I'm scared.
Well, folks. If there's a murder, you saw it here first on Walking 90.
We didn't do it. Not our fault.
Didn't do it. All right, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into it. We have transfers to talk about. We have players that have left. We have schedules to talk about. So I think the thing we should probably take our hands on first is talk about some of the noticeable players to leave USL League One, whether it's for climbing up the ladder or if it's teams in this league. So, where do you guys want to start at?
Ooh, I mean, you can look at all of South Georgia. They lost quite a few people.
But
I
they
think
kept the
Bill
important
Hurt
ones.
just got confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Hurt just got confirmed today to Detroit. Kazai Sterling, I was shocked to see that he came back. I truly thought that he was out of there. And who else is one more person I'm thinking about?
Kingsford?
Yes. Did he decide to come back? I can't really remember.
Yep.
Okay, yes, Kingsford.
And Dengler left, right? He left. Phelps stayed.
Yeah.
No, or is it
Other way around.
Okay. I was like, I know one of them left to Australia and the other one stayed.
And to be honest with you, the most surprising thing is that Ian Cameron will stick around because we heard all these rumors about him going to El Paso.
So that really fell apart, didn't it?
I swear, I think it got as far as I think we finally had that first transfer in USL League One that we were like, all right, this is going to happen, and then it doesn't happen. Everyone's speculating around it. I think it's got as far as the club was about to announce it, and then at the 11th hour, it was nope, he's back in Tormenta.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
Which that tells me there was a lot of money that was thrown at him.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
There was we're actually going to lose this guy. No, pay him. Pay him right now.
Yeah.
Well, he's done so much for that club. They better pay him. I mean, that man has been the heartbeat of that club at the youth level and at the pro level. So, pay the man.
Yeah, so we got that going out in Tormenta. Richmond, talking about Richmond a little bit. Noticeable transfers. Stephen Payne has decided to go to the Evil Empire. Jalen Chrysler has decided to go to One Knox. But meanwhile, they have re-signed, I think, 7 players so far. But, I mean, my fault. They have signed 12 players back, 7 of which are on multi-year contracts, which is impressive, which actually leads the league. Mm-hmm. I think the next closest club is, if I remember correctly, I think is Forward Madison. I want to say.
What, in multi-year contracts?
Oh, not Forward Madison. I think it's, multi-year contracts.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
I was like,
no, Forward Madison.
I was like, North Carolina brought back
1 year. Yeah, everybody's on a 1. Just a shit ton of money. But there's another club, I can't remember right now, that has
it might be us.
Yes, that's what it is. It's Nelco.
I'm NCFC.
Yep, has at least 2 on 2-year contracts.
But also, no, we have Nick Holiday was a multi-year frame.
You're not counting an underage worker.
Well, then never mind.
Counting an underage worker. We're not doing this year, man. Any game that he plays in, we're not counting it towards the schedule. We're just counting it as a scrimmage.
What? That's not fair. Because then you'd have to do that with Ray Paul.
Yeah, I mean, he's at, where is he? Fortuna Dusseldorf right now?
He's training with some German team.
Mm-hmm. It's a big deal.
Well,
He's out there.
I hope they have child labor laws, unlike NCFC.
Hey.
But yeah,
we're paying.
Let you guys talk about it. But any transfers so far that has caught your attention?
I mean, Christian Shane. Part of it is bias, but Christian Shane going to Madison was like a big holy shit kind of moment on that league. Yeah, that was a big one on the League One day one, and that was just because Madison had brought back Mitch Osmond, and they had announced they brought back Nazim Bartman. They had brought back Derek Gebhardt. And it's like, okay, cool. At least it seemed like you brought back a core of the higher performing players from last year. And then it's like, okay, what are we going to do for striker? Oh, we're just going to bring Fuego's best player from Fuego. And he grew up in Fresno. Like, this is a hometown guy, played for his club, and he ends up leaving, which really either says something was not going well over at Fuego or Forward Madison threw a lot of money, or both. I don't know. But I think for me that, and part of it is, I will admit, bias. But that, I think, was kind of like the big standout of, oh, shit, this is huge. And then I think the other big transfers is all the good players leaving Chattanooga to go to the rest of the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, NCFC took quite a few of those players. The biggest transfer of all is definitely Jake Keegan from Greenville to One Knox.
Mr. Cardio Man.
Good workouts. Good workouts are happening.
I'm not saying anything.
I already said it.
I'm gonna let y'all talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's never gonna happen. I think also another thing that's kind of caught my attention is you had a couple of players from NISA kind of move their way up to USL League One.
Well, they wanted to play next year because NISA won't be a thing. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
It'll be a thing at the start. It just won't make it to July.
Well, like, damn. Like, is the Maryland Bobcats specifically though? Like, they've how many is it? Is it 3 that have come
like
from the
3
Bobcats?
so far.
Maybe I'm overselling it, but it feels like a ton of Bobcats players have come. I mean, if you think about it, Nico Brown was a Bobcats player too. So you got Nico Brown, you got
I think Dengler was a Bobcat.
Dangler was a Bobcats player.
Yeah.
Like all these Bobcats have, and then Elijah Amo and then
this recent one that went
to Lee Balogun also at Lexington. So that's 4 in the past couple of years, just from Maryland.
It's a few. It's a few out there.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Sit there and think about it, like, ooh, who else is coming up? Real quick, One Knox. This is a team that's starting off at USL League One, made their announcement saying, hey, we're going to take FC Tucson's spot, and decided, like, oh, we're going to spend a shit ton of money to go get everyone. What is the recruitment strategy over there?
It's kind of wild to see how One Knox is doing it. It's like wild to see how One Knox is doing it versus how Lexington is doing it, because they're taking 2 very different paths.
It's like opposite.
I want to ask you guys about that. Let's dive into that a little bit. On one hand, you have One Knox that is like kind of, I guess, quote unquote, taking the Galacticos approach of like, we're going to buy the stars, we're going to buy the proven quantities, we're going to spend the bulk of our money on our starting 11, and then the roster spots might be sparse. Where Lexington is like, oh, we're going to play the kids and we're going to invest in the youth, and we're kind of going to flesh out the 11 and the bench so there's a little bit more balance. What do you think about those approaches so far?
I think they're both leaning more towards, I think they're both going like, we want to grow our academy, but they're doing it in 2 different ways. One's like, we're going to buy the academy and make it fit into what we need. And the other one is we're going to live and die by the academy and make it grow into what we need.
Yeah.
So it's a built versus bought type situation happening, and you got to see which one is going to win.
Well, and I remember when Chip and I talked to Sam Stockley, who's now the head coach, but he was the sporting director, and he emphasized, like, we want to have a team down the road. We want to be able to win with homegrown talent. Like, that was his big emphasis. And that was kind of the plan of what they're going to do at Lexington. They were going to have this pipeline where they have this academy, then they can maybe get either USL 2 or the USL League 1 team and win with that. And then those players can, venture off to wherever. So I think I'm not surprised that Lexington went with that approach. I think the thing that's probably the most interesting about it is, on the one hand, it is a live or die, but on the one hand, you're going to have young, hungry players that want to prove themselves and show, I have what it takes to move on to the next level, but you also deal with the inconsistencies. It's like what we saw with all the MLS2 teams. You have young players that want to prove themselves, and on their day, they can beat anyone 4-0, but then because that inexperience starts showing, and you're having 18, 19, 20, 21, young players, and they're going to go against, say, a Greenville, it's like that. They're going to get a lot of hard lessons from that experience. You're going to play in Omaha where they have that winning mentality, and you're going to have a lot of – that's where I think it's going to be interesting is how consistently can these young players do it when, especially going up against more of the experienced sides or teams that have more of the experience coaching. While with Knoxville, I think they saw, okay, this is what the level was in League Two. We know we need to take at least a step up. Let's make sure we get the guys that are proven quantities, and we know, okay, they have league experience. That's what Forward Madison did. They said, we're just going to get guys that know this league, and that's going to be our roster. And I think Knoxville's going with that same approach, and then let the eventual academies, because they just bought, or I think they did like a new initiative where they more or less combined another academy or two down there. And they're going to say, we'll let them catch up, but in the short term, we're going to try and win and make sure we can prove that we can belong in the league, and then eventually the academy will catch up. Well, Lexington's like, we're just going to fucking go for it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they took similar approaches to their academies, right? Like that, both of them, they have huge academies in the area, like in Knoxville and in Lexington, that combined. And so like their systems are both massive now coming into this, because Knoxville's doing the same exact thing in a sense of combining two academies in the local area to create the One Knox Academy. So you've got like two really massive academies that I think are going to be incredible for the long term for League One, just in terms of just like the growth of the league and things like that. Because up till now, we haven't really, outside of MLS, we haven't had anything like that. And there's been a lot of talk of can we really do anything with young players? Can we attract young players to the league when they could take a chance somewhere else? They could take a chance at an MLS two team and potentially get MLS spots. But now we've got these pathways. We're creating pathways. And I think that's really exciting because
Can you even say that MLS is doing it well? Because you're not seeing that MLS 2 to MLS pathway, really. You're seeing just the academies because you have to have one. You're seeing more people make the jump from USL Championship to MLS at this rate. So that system that's being built, really cool. I got to talk with the USL front office a little bit while I was in Philly, and they were just explaining that path line of like, how do we get you all of the tiers so that it makes sense for you to operate long term. And you can see it with, really South Georgia to Menta is like the model, right? Like USL is not sustainable without that model of Tormenta. So does Lexington? I think Lexington is doing it the South Georgia way, and Knoxville's doing it the NCFC way, and eventually someone's going to have to figure out which is going to be the best way to get all of these teams into a really good structure of making everything fit and getting those academies to be as big as possible, because that's truly going to be our future in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah. And it's interesting though, because if you look at the 3 recent USL League One to some form of MLS in terms of Ethan Bryant, Eric Leonard, and Ryan Jiba, none of them are from teams that have really academies. Like Richmond's probably the closest that had something, but like Forward Madison doesn't have an academy. Omaha doesn't have an academy. It's stuff that or a fleshed out one. So it's interesting that while you see like that pathway, it's still also we have these clubs that have like talented players that are going to go over to this MLS Next Pro and then maybe shoot up to the MLS. So there's now like 2 or 3 different routes. Like there's the go straight up through USL to MLS, or there's this go to USL League One, career over to MLS Next Pro, and maybe go for there. Or in Gina's case, just go straight to MLS.
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting either way how you look at it. So fans, let us know. Like, what approach do you think you would rather have your club do? Would you rather take the One Knox approach or the Lexington approach to it? So it's interesting either way. All right, next team. Let's talk about it. I think let's talk about Greenville. Greenville got some interesting things going on. got a new stadium. They're playing at Foreman's College.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, yeah.
Furman's football stadium.
Yeah. As far as transfers go, I haven't. I don't know if you guys have seen the same, but I haven't seen a lot from them. What do you think is going on in Greenville? Is it going to be a shakeup down there or not? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
I think.
I mean,
yeah, it's kind of hard
because it's not like they're running.
I mean, it's always a hard loss of Jake Keegan, right?
And Paul Christensen deciding I'm going to be a pastor. Yes. Bye. I don't know. Like, I don't think they're fully running it back with their core, but I mean, they kept a good amount of their core though. Mm-hmm. Like, if you look at who they brought back, it was most of the main contributors from last year.
But look how long it took for them to announce that.
Well, and that's where I think things are starting to, like, this is probably where we got to get some young players in here because we have this group that is old or has a lot of mileage. And we got to figure out, like, how many of these guys do we really want to keep? And I think it was notable where with Keegan and Christensen, both those were announced early. So it was like, okay, we know they're not coming back. And then it was just a big gap of we don't know what the hell Greenville's doing. And then Greenville's like, okay, here's the guys that we're returning, and then nothing again. And I don't know if this is just more of they're still working things out and it's just getting things like finalized, or I'm sure they have a plan, but also did Greenville see what everyone else did first, and then they're going to be like, okay, this is what they're doing. This is how we counter it. Yeah. We'll let Brandon decide.
No, I think that's a great question. I am really excited about the Tevin Shaw signing, though. I think I said that a couple weeks ago. I'm hyped about that. That's going to be huge for our defense. I think we were really good at getting the ball forward last year, but we had a pretty hard time protecting our back line, and so I think having him in the lineup this next year will be awesome.
I mean, there's a noticeable amount of FC Tucson players out there on the market that could go to any USL League One club and do a job.
There's a couple that are big.
Chattanooga's having a fire sale if you need one. Need a couple.
I'm surprised Chattanooga hasn't called Tucson players and be like, hey, come over here. We no competition for playing time.
Literally, you could start right now.
Probably so. Okay, let's talk about Chattanooga because we haven't really dived into that since we were on break and everything. New head coach. A lot of players are leaving. If you're a Chattanooga Red Wolf fan right now, like, how nervous are you about the start of the season?
I mean, you don't have to be a fan anymore. You can literally go on the field.
I mean, that's true.
I don't know how I think the biggest thing for Chattanooga wasn't necessarily all the players you lost, which was a blow. But it seems as though who you're bringing in, it's not anything that has raised eyebrows. Like, I know today they announced Christian Enriquez, who didn't get much playing time in Madison. And it's like, okay, are they really expecting him to, like, be like a starter, or is he just a squad? Like, that's the thing that I would be worried about. It's like, okay, you're bringing in a guy like Christian Enriquez, who's okay, but he was kind of a squad player, not really a main focal point of a not great Madison team the last 2 years.
I mean, at this point, you're a starter until you're a starter until someone replaces you. Right now, they have no one to replace him.
Right, but it's just, I mean, it's like other than Espinoza, like Espinoza and Lombardi were probably the two that they returned. It's like, okay, cool, great, that's good for them. And then after that's like I would be concerned just because we are now mid-January. The season starts in 2 months, and you got a whole lot of question marks.
Yeah, I mean, also it kind of seems like they got a late start with the head coaching hire. Brandon's gone again with the head coaching coming in, and it's kind of just like, I don't know. It's kind of like this isn't going to be the Chattanooga that we see in the pace, that high intensity, get after it, run, blitz you. It's not going to be that same Chattanooga. Like, I'm interested to see how they play on the field, just because it's going to be a different perspective. You understand?
Yeah, I would be worried though. If I was a Chattanooga fan, like we were saying, they should be worried after like the League One day one.
Yeah.
And I think the concern is growing.
Yeah. Well, another team I think that should be concerned is Central Valley Fuego. You know, just a lot of the uncertainty that's swirling around that club right now. I mean, from what last we remember, the stadium was still incomplete. The supporters weren't happy about the prices of things. Players seem very unhappy to leave because the first player to leave was Michael Hornsby. He comes over to Richmond. Cheney leaves. He goes. You know, if you're Fuego, man, like you gotta be a little concerned.
I got a better question. Which one would you be more concerned? Which fan base should be more concerned? Fuego or NoCo?
Fuego, 100%.
Fuego.
I think NoCo. And I'll explain, like, NoCo, I would be more concerned. I mean, the thing with Fuego as well is they don't have anyone. When you go to the roster page, there's nothing there.
I mean,
they didn't tweet their schedule. You go to the roster, nothing's there. I don't know what. I mean, I feel like Fuego's just more of a. Look, we saw this last year. Like, it took them a while to like announce players and announce like a camp. Like, I feel like Fuego just goes on the fuck it, we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
Because if you go on Fuego's website, the schedule is there.
Yeah, but we also know that Fuego wasn't very good at the social cues last year anyway.
Right.
So
I mean, no. If you're thinking about it, yeah. If I'm NoCo, I'm a little bit more concerned just because of you have everything in place. You have the head coach in place. You have your key signing. You haven't announced any other signings back. You have a lot of players left. That granted, we haven't seen a lot of players leave to other clubs yet. So that's kind of like maybe they've signed them, you just haven't announced them yet. I think the biggest thing that's running around NoCo is just the stadium, really. But if you look at Fuego, it's kind of like the same thing there.
I was gonna say, isn't it the same for both?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like though with NoCo, it's like they already have a late home opener again because stadium questions.
Well, I think it's might be, but I think it's also like weather. And when I kind of like with Madison and y'all, like I think I had it maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I had like that late home opener.
Oh yeah, because I was also trying to figure out if they were going to play in Madison. Yeah, it was kind of like with the COVID and everything. Like we weren't even sure if they were going to be allowed to play in Madison. But with NoCo, it's like we have no idea what the hell's going on at the stadium.
Yeah.
Again.
So yeah, NoCo fans, hit us up. Let us know what's going on with the stadium. We're interested to know. Definitely interested to know what's going on there. Definitely because also Ivan Para has tweeted. Where's the rest of my teammates at? Like I feel like it was like the Will Smith meme of him just walking in the room with his hands in his pocket, like,
damn.
Here we go again.
Look, I'm not saying I wouldn't want to piss off my best player.
But I'm saying NCFC spending a lot of money, and we'll take you shoot or shoot.
Yeah, I really are like that. Charlotte Independence, y'all. Quick thing about Charlotte Independence that I found out: they have the longest home stretch. They have two stretches of 3 games at home, and they also have the longest road stretch. They have 2 stretches of 3 games on the road this year. So it's scheduled.
What a random stat to know.
Yeah. I was like doing research to get prepared for the show. I'm trying to be better. But so far for them, for Charlotte Independence, we kind of see what happened at the end of last year, the controversial ending, and finger quotes, South Georgia Tormenta. What are we looking at for this team so far, and how do they take their next step?
Do they have
4,
players
we are
right
going
now?
to try and score 5. That's all it is.
Still?
They have no keeper. They have no keeper.
And I doubt
not brought back a 6.
I mean, and they also have that lawsuit happening right now.
They have a lawsuit.
Right. Let's pause there. Let's talk about this lawsuit because that's what we need to talk about.
Yeah.
What I'll let you guys break it down better because you guys have a better understanding than what I do. So I'll allow one of y'all to break it down.
The long story short of it is when Charlotte decided to drop down to League One, there was a player whose contract basically was not fulfilled. And Charlotte was trying to use them dropping down to kind of explain why they weren't either going to pay him. They couldn't pay him.
Yeah.
And the player's like, okay, but you still owe me my fucking money. So that's the long story short is Charlotte dropped down, decided for at least one of the players, we're not going to pay you. And the player is saying, pay me. He is turning full Rihanna, pay me what you owe me.
Essentially, they didn't buy his contract out from the league, from the championship contract to restructure it for League One. So he's like, you owe me. And they're like, but no. And he's like, bitch, you thought. So, I mean, if you weren't gonna, in good faith, restructure that contract so that he got all of his money, but it was over a longer period of time so that you could afford it, you kind of fucked up.
Or come to some agreement. So, even if they had said, like, hey, we can't pay you the full thing. Can we work something out to pay you as much as we can? Or we can do X, like, here's some other things, X, Y, Z, whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened is Charlotte is just cheaping out, which again doesn't surprise me, but this is interesting because I can't remember a whole players association suing a team.
I mean, it's always a first for something.
I mean, power to the players because they're like, no, you owe him, pay him. And
right.
Charlotte is saying that they essentially have done their part and they have paid him enough money. And he's like, no, enough to you, but I'm still owed. This is like Barca, but like the USA version.
Yeah. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that as the story progresses and whatnot and get to know more about it.
I think this does factor into the fact that the longer they let this play out and they don't come to an agreement, the harder it's going to be for them to sign players moving forward.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure, even though like national coverage isn't talking about it, I'm pretty sure there are the conversations amongst agents like, hey, look, if you go there, just know.
Well, agents and other players. Like the players talk to each, like especially in this level, players talk to each other, coaches talk to each other. Like everyone's aware now, and it's going to be interesting because I think it's one of those where do you take this gamble? Like again, it's kind of like a Chattanooga. You can play, you might not get paid, but you will probably play at this rate, and that's going to be like the decision that some of these players are going to have to make. Like. I'm taking this game. It's like when you go overseas, if you're a basketball player and you go overseas, it's like, well, you might not get paid. If you're playing in Eastern Europe, you might not get paid, but you're playing.
It is 2023. We are past playing for exposure. Like
I agree, get your money, but there are definitely some players that are going to do it to get the exposure that they need and to get the fuck out as soon as they can.
Yeah. And I mean also like I don't know how much Charlotte Independence is going to be able to rely on Charlotte FC players coming because now Charlotte FC has set up their own MLS2 academy. So that's going to be a hindrance.
Which is also wild. That's also wild because their MLS2 academy was supposed to be Charlotte Independence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So essentially, all of Charlotte has said, fuck you. And now they're stranded.
Yeah,
they'll find a way. They'll build out a roster. It just again, they're gonna have to score 5 or 6 goals a game to have a chance.
Maybe it'll be another thing of last year where literally a week before the season, here's our roster.
I mean, the players they brought back again, very good attacking players. Mbuyu's back, Bennett's back, Ibarra's back, Omar Cease is back. Like that's not a bad attacking core to bring back at least.
Yeah, true. So
but they have no keeper.
Yeah, no keeper. Zayday House is probably gone. Let's hop on talk about your team, NCFC. They brought in some noticeable players, pretty much Chattanooga Red Wolves 2.0. Stole Mikey Maldonado from Forward Madison. And also, y'all decided to pay Shaq Adams and say, like, sir, you are not that level of championship. Stay here. This is your level. This is your realm. Stay here.
Yeah, we will also be playing a game of you score 4, we'll score 5. We'll see. I mean, they've added a lot of really good talent from around the league, and even like they just added the new goalkeeper from Indy 11.
Yeah.
Tor.
Yeah. Yes. So who knows? If we don't have at least 5 or 6 players in the Golden Boot race, I don't want it.
So, Ev, let me ask you this. Is your head coach the coach with the hottest seat right now? And the reason why I ask that is because as an outside fan looking in, we're talking about a team that last year we hyped up as a team that could be in the playoff race. They should have been the players with the amount of money spent in certain positions that y'all needed.
So we didn't really spend that much money last year. We were still one of the lowest budgeted teams last year. This year, we went out and spent some money. So, and again, I spoke on it. We started really well, but I think the inexperience kind of reared its head at the end there with like the injuries and coming back from that, and just not having that guy that can be there to guide these players, because Pekka's great and all, but he's not the vocal person you're looking for to lead a locker room, right? Where's my Austin? Where's my Connor Tobin? Where is my Stephen Miller? I think you get that with like Maldonado. So I think you're going to see these players like grind it out a little bit more. We'll see. Rafa's there now. We got, Shaq. I think because he is here permanently, he's going to get some chances to like really lead a locker room, even though, I think we're starting to see a roster build that is going to hopefully get them past the midseason and into what is hopefully the playoffs.
I would say Bradford's probably, if I had to power rank coaches on the hot seat, Bradford's probably in the top 3.
I wouldn't put him at number 1. I think that still goes to Hearts.
I am. I
wouldn't put him. I'd put him 2 or 3.
I wouldn't put him at number 1, but definitely like 2nd or 3rd. I'm okay with that.
Who's the number 1 then? Because I
said Hearts.
I don't put Hearts as 1. Hearts has enough longevity at Greenville to where he's brought you a championship. He's been in the playoffs every single year. Literally, his worst year was last year, and he still got you a home playoff bye. Bradford, on the other hand,
I'd say Fuego's coach is 1, Glazer 2, Bradford 3.
The only reason I put Hearts at 1 is because
you need your bet to come true.
I do. I will stick by that every single year.
Here's the reason why I'm going to say Fuego's coach, because if anything goes wrong, who's the first that's going to catch the axe? If something goes wrong, who's going to be the one that everyone points to and says, this is the problem? It's the coach.
But more can go wrong. So why would you?
Oh, more can go wrong, but I'm just saying, like, when shit's going to go bad, and especially with losing the players that they did, I could see this being a long season for Fuego, and and they've already rotated. They had 3 coaches last year.
I mean, yeah.
So, Yogi, I think for a fan standpoint, yes, Bradford, but as a front office, I think you're giving him at least another season because he didn't have the budget he had last year. This is his first year.
But if NCFC finishes last, he's going to go. Like they can't finish.
I think if he missed a playoff again, I think he's You can't miss the playoffs. Back 3 years.
Yes, I can. I've done it. I've done it with. Yes, I can.
What I was going to say is, I don't think missing the playoffs would be that awful for Bradford at NCFC. And I think it depends on the manner that they missed the playoffs.
Carlin Clark did it faithfully for his entire tenure, except for like one season. And he was the head coach until traffic out. Okay.
Yeah. I have Bradford leaning towards. He got the hottest seat.
No, I'm not going that far.
I put him. I put Forward Madison, and I put
Forward Madison has a new coach every season. That doesn't count.
Hey, no. We are going second straight year with Glazer. All right, we're good.
Yeah, I go with Bradford, Glazer, and
I'll go Greenville, Fuego, NoCo. Greenville, Fuego, NCFC, NoCo.
I don't know.
See. I can't throw. I don't think I can throw them in there.
I can't throw Zaid in there yet until they get a team. If they get a team, I will properly rate it.
I think Zaid is also safe because of the run at the end where you got close. Like you're right there.
They missed out by a win.
Yeah, Fuego was kind of teetering in and out.
Yeah, no. It's Vasquez, Glazer, Bradford.
I am on a vibe-based economy, and Kaylor has it right. Who needs wins when you have goal of the week every week, okay? We have no defense. We are just scoring 6 goals and hoping for the best.
We'll see. They definitely are hoping for the best out there.
Well, I would love to know that feeling of scoring goals, okay?
Well, hey, you know what? Let's leave it out there to the fans. Fans, tell us, like, what coach right now is on the hot seat? We all got 3 different opinions here. We see it from all 3 different angles. Let us know. Who do you think is on the hot seat right now walking into 2023? Who might need to look for a real estate agent by the end of 2023?
Well, Hart should look for a real estate agent for the eventual move to MLS.
Sir, every move we try to push this man to got locked up.
We're moving him up the Atlantic.
We were.
DC's done.
We were low-key moving this man.
Rooney, we don't know about Rooney, okay? Give Rooney like 3 months and we'll see, okay? Like,
Rooney's going to be the coach at Everton once they get relegated. It's going to happen.
Actually,
Everton's getting relegated? Oh, yeah, true. I mean, the whole city, the whole Scouser city is down bad.
Yeah, it's in the flames.
Hey, Liverpool won the FA Cup at least, so not all is lost. It's still not pretty, but
yeah.
I didn't say it was good. I just said it's not as bad. It's better than it was a week ago.
All right.
Forward Madison.
I think the last thing we got to talk about, guys, is of course Union Omaha. His team, Jay Mims, left December 16th. They hired their head coach literally this past week. Union Omaha fans still find a way how to complain about it. They signed a New Jersey sponsor with Hummel, making them officially Forward Madison 2.0, but just in black and gold. And yeah,
that's not a real color.
It's not. It's just electric yellow. We don't know where Mims. I think Mims took a scouting job. Did he? I think he did. Last we heard from Chip. I'm not 100%.
Look, that man dipped hard. He dipped.
That man saw that Christmas boat. It was like, time for me to leave. But also, I think you can see it kind of in the last year. Like Mims got them to. I think he got them to the peak. Like you had that huge U.S. Open Cup run. You got a team that was struggling defensively, had a massive amount of injuries. You still got them into the playoffs. You just came off of winning USL League One last year with probably the second best team ever in USL League One history. I mean, which more was there for him to accomplish there?
Is he gonna?
Well, I mean, it's
he's just gonna dip.
He just dipped. He just dipped. Like, and the thing is, it's the timing that was always the weirdest part, because you would think if he didn't want to come back, he would have said that like at the beginning of the offseason. But the fact that it was just like 2 months after the season ended, and you've already started building this roster, and then it's like, okay, I'm actually leaving. Bye.
He Deion Sanders it. Oh shit! Look at that. But to Kayla answer your question, no, they still have Zaid. I don't see anything that says he's left. By the way, to answer your question about did they get a new coach?
No coach. I think there's a tweet where the assistant coach left NoCo. But maybe it's just thinking that everyone NoCo to be an assistant.
I mean, it's going to be interesting there in Omaha, because so far, if you go to transfer mark, you see who's. I mean, I really can't say who's back. I don't think anyone's back yet.
No, they had an initial knew who's back. Mesa's back. I think Giovanni Willis came back. Dion came back.
I just want you to know, I went through all those transfers on a transfer market, and there was like none for several teams.
Yeah, no, like Omaha brought back a core of players, but here's my bigger concern with Omaha, and it's more with the new coach, which again, I don't know. I did not know who this was, so I'm not going to act like this is a bad hire. It seemed like it was a solid hire. Seems like a guy that knows lower league soccer at least. But starting this late and trying to get your roster built and trying to have guys that you want, that's going to be a lot tougher for him now, because you're, again, 2 months from your season opener. And I think it's going to be a lot of mad dash trying to put everything together at the last minute. And does he have the players that he wants to make whatever tactic he wants work?
Yeah.
And it's the same with Chattanooga. Like, trying to get a coach, when you get a coach late, you're playing catch up with everyone else.
Yeah. And I mean, I hate to say it, but that's kind of what happened with Forward Madison. You guys hired your coach late, and you kind of was playing catch up. You know, you're kind of playing behind the 8-ball. And honestly, I think about it now. He's a coach in the hot seat there at Union Omaha, more from the fans' perspective, because you got Jay Mims leaving, who's kind of like this local legend and brought success 2 years in a row, well, really 3 years in a row. You come into that, and we know how volatile Omaha fans can be. They can turn quickly, and you don't get a string of results there. It can turn ugly.
Well, what's the saying? You never want to be the guy. You never want to replace the guy. You never want to replace the legend. You always want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaced the guy. Yeah. So this coach, he's going to get like 8 games. And if he doesn't figure it out, he's done.
Oh, no. If Omaha loses that first game to Madison, hot seat. Number one on the hot seat.
Woo!
Those fans they're going to have torches ready.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If Omaha loses to Madison in their home opener, nope.
So their first 5 games, we're going to talk about the schedule a little bit, but we're going to talk about their first 5 games. Madison, you got Knox on the road, Central Valley on the road, North Carolina at home, Charlotte. If you don't walk out of that with at least 3 wins for you Omaha fans,
is it over?
Oh no, it's not over.
Like
but
that?
just know they're going to their local grocery store and getting some tiki torches. Like they might start barbecuing soon.
Damn.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot. They're gonna be barbecuing something more than corn. But I think that's the majority of all the transfers that happen. Obviously, there's gonna be more transfers that happen over the course to the starting date. But those are the main ones that kind of caught our attention. I don't know, something about guys, let's also talk about the schedule that dropped. 32-game schedule. I got some clarity from Matt Myers, my good co-host of River City 93, about why it's 32 and not 33. And basically it comes down that every team has an equal number of home games, equal number of away games. It's somewhat balanced. There's a little bit of balance in there. I personally would have loved to see 33 all around, but it is what it is. I'm going to ask you guys this. What are some of the noticeable games, not only for your club, but around the league that you're like, all right, this is a game I know I got to watch?
I think we were talking about it.
We had chatted about it.
Yeah. My one is going to be Knoxville versus South Georgia Tormenta. That's the battle of two academies, right? That'll be fun.
I said Omaha Tormenta they play late in the season in October. And that could have a lot of implications, whether it's for playoffs, whether it's for home field, whether it's the ones that will be an interesting approach. And I think a lot of it is just going to be Tormenta. Both teams brought back a core of guys, but Tormenta's core won them a title, and Omaha's core, a good chunk of them were part of that title-winning team. And it's just going to be interesting to see how that, especially how the season shakes up. That, again, that just has so much implications that it's going to be huge. And I think the other thing I said was Knoxville-Greenville, just because it's kind of like it's like the new, we're going to spend all this money against the OG.
So a few that I got on my list I got Richmond versus Tormenta. What is it? April 29th. So you got the regular season champs versus the U.S. League One playoff champions. I also have, what is it? I had it pulled up here.
For Twitter purposes, Lexington, Knoxville will be fun.
Yes, that will be fun. July 26th. Kyle, this is going to be a good game because Tormenta comes up to Forward Madison, and do you know who comes back? Cassini.
I know.
He makes his return to Madison, and this is a guy who was 16 left, made it seem like he was retired. He is done. He's gonna go take care of them kids. And their Tormenta was like, "You like money? Come on down."
It'll definitely be interesting.
I like the Smoky Mountain Derby. That's a funny name. The Sad Boys versus this is for all of Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's Chattanooga versus Whatnots. That's gonna be a fun one.
Another good one is going to be that March 25th game, Greenville versus Richmond. That's always a fun game. Charlotte versus North Carolina, April 8th. That's going to be a good game. And also the opener, North Carolina versus Tormenta on a Friday night. Yeah, we might have to do a special We might have to do a special show for that game.
Man, that's a 5 o'clock kickoff on a Friday. Like, we don't have work.
Yeah, y'all bugging.
Okay,
I got bills to pay.
It's going to be is this the end of the road match? Fuego against NoCo.
The fire.
Are we gonna exist? Are we gonna exist at the end? I don't know.
Well, much like their condoms, you only use it once, and then after that, you can't do it anymore.
Kayla said, I love that. Charlotte versus USLPA. That's going to be an amazing one. I agree. The real one.
Omaha fans. That's always a good one.
Yeah.
The real game is definitely going to be the Juneteenth Henny Derby in Richmond this year.
Special episode? Our first in-person show?
That's going to be amazing. I'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
Our first in-person show?
We might act up. No, because that's a lot of Henny all at once. And
it needs to be that needs to be Friday. That needs to be on Friday. That cannot be on Saturday during the day. That cannot be the Sunday morning. It's got to be Friday. That's going to be the time that it's got to be that Friday night.
Hey, folks, more details to come.
You know the crowd is coming, and it's gonna be
a special.
We might get the cops called on us.
And that's why it's got to be the Friday. If we're gonna do the show, it's got to be as early as possible because there's no guarantee the state that anyone will be in after.
We're all about to be drinking Henny and Red Bulls from 8 a.m. from 8 a.m. Saturday to 8 a.m. Sunday. And
No. 8 to noon, coffee and Henny.
See, you thinking small. You gotta go big.
Small? I'm thinking I need to get at least to noon. You're gonna put Red Bull and Henny in my system?
So
Yes.
I have made a pledge to myself that I will not drink Hennessy until we get the trophy back. So I've made that pledge to myself. I will drink anything else.
I've made
I
that
will
pledge
not touch
since day
Hennessy
one.
until we get the trophy back.
Can't relate.
Okay.
You gotta get it back. I gotta get it back. It was fun celebrating the regular season title in Madison, but it sucked sending that trophy.
I'm not gonna lie. Walking around with that trophy that whole night. What game?
It's like a shield. It's like, fuck it, whatever.
What game? Oh, Forward Madison lost? Oh, okay, cool. I have the Henny Derby trophy, and I'm multiple drinks in. It was great.
Tyler,
time.
yes, you're driving up to Richmond.
Yes.
You're driving up to Richmond.
Yes.
No,
Everyone
We're gonna
is
invite the
coming to
Cooligans
Richmond.
out. We're gonna invite Total Soccer Show out. We're gonna have a live show. And we're gonna be
Protagonists, you gotta roll through, Shea Butter, the Two Cents fam, Gino, everybody.
Nothing like it.
Oh, Gino said he's coming, so
Everybody. I need everybody to pull up in Richmond. They're just going to have to call the cops a couple times.
If there's one game a month that they put on big ESPN, that's the game
It's
you need
this
to
one.
put on.
if
And
I
they're
was
not
the
even
league,
they're not even showing the game. They're showing the stands. They're just like, what's happening over there? Is that a step show? Do we have drum lines? Is that it?
What is this? Oh,
Like,
I mean,
it is the 35th minute. Why are they all?
right.
why is there a watermelon? Oh no, not the watermelon again. Nope.
Man, I'll tell you, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's mainly part of the schedule. Schedule kind of runs the same as it did last year, March to mid October. Playoffs are still the same. Nothing's changed there. If you guys could right now, I think let's do it. Whatever. Let's kind of do our first power rankings. Our way too early power rankings.
Okay.
So where do we want to start? Do we want to start at the end and work our way up, or do we want to start at the top and work our way down?
Let's start at the end.
All right, let's start at the end.
Hold on, I'm gonna record this. I'm gonna make sure this year we're gonna keep track of how we do the power rankings.
Cool, that works. Let's do this and let's tweet it out there and make sure that we're all consistent on it. Okay. All right.
Hold us accountable.
Okay.
We'll try. At number 11, I think we are all fair in saying that it is Noko.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Noko's 11. Well, no, 12. 11, Fuego.
Yes.
You look a little confused, Kyle. What you got?
I'm trying to decide between three teams. I'm thinking between Charlotte, Fuego, and Lexington. Lexington, I just don't know. And make sure, I mean, like, there's definitely good local work being done for Lexington. So anyone that follows Tyler Crane or at Crane Kicks Lex, follow him. He's got all the deep dive info on these players. That still doesn't help me know, like, to what extent. So I'm trying to decide between Lexington, Fuego, and Charlotte.
So I mean, those three are interchangeable, though.
I have Lexington at 7 right now. I'm fine.
You're putting Lexington at 7?
With Fuego, who we got? Fuego, they're up there. They're not like playoff potential, but they're up there. I put them like in between 7 and 9 right now, based on who they have. Like, I can't put a team in front of them who literally doesn't have anyone.
I mean, Noko, Fuego, Charlotte, interchangeable between.
Are we all in agreement that Noko's last?
Yes.
Yeah.
Noko's last. Fuego is 11. Charlotte's 10. There you go. That's easy in itself.
Sure. I mean, honestly, any of those three you can interchange, and it'll be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna do Noco, then Fuego, then Charlotte.
Yeah.
Works for me.
All right.
All right. So you got that. I think we're working on 9.
Yeah.
Number 9. Give me Chattanooga.
This is where I would have put Lexington.
Okay.
As much as Chattanooga has lost, they still kept some quality. I slightly lean Lexington just because, again, unknown, which does play in their favor as well. But
okay, I'll keep Chattanooga at 9, but I'm cool with that. What we got now? 8.
So that could be Chattanooga.
It's Chattanooga.
We not gonna put Union Omaha?
No, I'm giving 7 to Omaha.
See, okay, that's why I have Lexington at 7. Just right now, like I can't. It's hard for me to put a team in front of a team that has players right now. Like like we just made the case for you in Omaha. Why you should be a little bit concerned because you just got your head coach in this week. You're already late on the recruiting trail. It's kind of hard to.
Union Omaha brought back gives me more confidence than what Lexington might bring in and what Chattanooga has brought in. That's the only reason why I have Omaha ahead. Because at least the players they brought back, I have more faith in.
I mean, if I'm sticking to the big,
I haven't fully looked at who Union Omaha has brought back, so that's fair. I understand. I'm cool with that.
Knew who's back. That's huge, right there.
Yeah, okay.
That's big.
I'm cool with that. Yeah, you're right. I'm cool with that. Okay. So just to go over it again, we got Noco, Fuego, was it Chattanooga?
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte, Lexington,
Chat.
Oh, you know who I forgot?
Union Omaha, right?
I forgot Tucson.
Tucson not in the league.
Oh shit, that's right.
Tucson is last. Tucson will always be gone.
I was like, not Tucson. That's why they're not even here anymore.
Oh, God damn it, Amp. Damn it.
I get that it happened a long time ago. But
no. Tucson left in the middle of the season. It was just like, hey, bro, we just gonna play the year.
Season ended Saturday. Tucson made the announcement Sunday.
That's why
I talked to John Perlman.
I knew
Monday.
they had left.
Sorry, damn,
I knew they left. And in my head, I was like, man, we're missing someone.
No, I'm pretty sure Tucson season ended Saturday. Come Monday morning, the announcement went out, and then Perlman was telling us all the information like Tuesday.
Sorry, that Jane was so hilarious because it literally was like game ended. He put out the tweet. We all woke up to it. It was like, wait, what? What is this?
And that was like the team that we were all just like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, we expect them to come back. Like, they have a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we all was like, all right, it was just a fucked up year. Like, it's cool. Like, I'll be back. It was like, no, we are in financial struggles right now.
Like, we figured, okay, Perlman might not coach again, but they'll be back. They just might have a different coach.
Yeah, that's what we figured. All right.
Okay.
So I'll go over the list because I'm messing up.
All right.
So we got
Noco at the bottom. Noco at the bottom. Fuego, Charlotte, Lexington, Chattanooga, Omaha.
8,
so now we're at
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're at
6.
We are at 6.
Okay. So 6.
Greenville
right now. Give me Greenville. Right now. Give me Greenville right now. I'll take Greenville at 6.
I said same thing.
Yeah, just I'm putting them at 6 because the stadium, the roster. I'm interested to see how they build the roster out. If they're going to go a little bit younger, I'm interested to see how that builds out.
I mean, you could also put Knoxville here, but
Knoxville, I'm leaning a little bit. I'm surprised where I got Knoxville at right now.
If it's in the same place I have them, I'm not surprised.
I'm curious where you have it. Anyway.
Okay. So now we're up
5.
So wait, hold on. Before we move, are we agreeing Greenville at 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. 5. Who do we have there? I have NCFC.
NCFC, same.
Okay.
I had Knoxville.
Yeah, Knox at 5. I have NCFC at 5.
I'm good putting NCFC at 5. It's between them and Knoxville. Like it's, I can be convinced either way. So,
all right. 4. I have Madison.
I had NCFC, but
I had NCFC and Madison interchangeable because I had Knoxville at 3.
I had Knoxville at 2. I had Knoxville at 2. Just based off, and look, like I said, we're all looking at this different. I'm just looking at the initial roster, like who is there. And so, like, I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been low-key impressed by Knoxville's roster.
They have a very impressive roster. I'm not arguing that at all. Like, the defense is really, really good. I think the defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to play. I don't know that. We haven't seen any footage. There's been no preseason talk whatsoever.
My concern is if Illich doesn't score, who will? And I know Brandon was very high on Vowinkle. I guess if they do the cardio club CEO, I have less faith. Yeah. If they play Vowinkle and Illich and those two in particular, those are the ones that I think are going to make or break Knoxville's attack. If they play well, Knoxville's going to go really far. Knoxville's defense is very impressive to me so far. Yeah. It might be second. It might be the second best defense.
Yeah. I have Richmond 3. Just because you brought the quarterback. You brought Neil back. You brought Emmy, Akira, Dakota, Ani.
Which is why I'm surprised you put them at 3 and not 2.
I had them at 2.
Yeah, I had Richmond at 2, and I had
my concern really is just like depth. There's no noticeable depth yet. And I granted, once again, we're talking about just initial signings. Like just initial signings. You know, really, I can you know what? Honestly, let me rearrange that. Because now I'll put Tormenta 3, Knoxville 2, Richmond 1.
Ow.
There we go. There we go. Okay. And look, once again, this is no shade to Tormenta. Like, they brought in key parts, but you also lost key parts. You get what I'm saying? Like, Richmond has 2, but from what I've seen, it's only been Keziah Sterling back, Kingsford. Like, they're still, like, who's going to be the goalkeeper? You've lost, center backs have retired. I think all 3 center backs has left. Correct? Am I correct in saying that? Let me double check to make sure.
Yeah, I'm double checking.
Because I really feel like all 3 center backs have left.
It says Dangler. Hold on. It says Dangler's still there.
So this is it for Tormenta. So far, Cassini has come in, Moccasin has come in from the Thunder and Herd, Elijah Amano, but they've lost Thorne, Green. Let's see, Cabral has left, Phelps has left, Bill Hart went to Detroit. So, a lot of guys without a club right now. Ekenrode has retired. Which, by the way, Ekenrode, congrats to you, man. I know he just got a job up in the front office with them. I can't remember the exact role, but congrats to him. His brother played for Richmond as well. So yeah, like that's like you brought back key parts, but you've also lost them. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I put Tormenta 3. I put Knoxville 1 because it was impressive what they've done so far. Richmond,
they have the academy to pull from to be great, which is what they did anyway.
Yeah.
So
no, they do.
That's what I was going to say is they brought back a good enough core, and they always seem to have someone from their 2 team that will move up and shock us as well.
Okay. See, I didn't know. Thank you.
Like, there's
I didn't know. So out of 9 that left,
lose players.
There we go. And Dingler is still there. Okay.
And again, like we thought after Micheletto left, they were in trouble.
Oh no, we know Eckerode isn't a key part.
Okay.
It's just
so I guess we're trying to figure. So we're down to the top 3. So Madison, Richmond,
one Knox. It's real. You can go either way with those 3.
Not Madison. In the top 3? You threw that in there.
Oh, that did. Did I say Madison?
No, Kyle did.
Well, I mean, if you want to do top 4, you can any of those top 4 are interchangeable.
No, they're not.
That is true with Tormenta. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm pretty sure all of us, we were all shocked to see Keziah Sterling come back. Because we all thought, like, oh, he's going to leave. Like, we were sure, like, he's gone.
Oh yeah.
No, as of right now, I will still put Tormenta 1.
Okay.
I'll put Richmond 2.
And one Knox 2.
Yes.
I'm putting Madison at 3.
Of course.
But if we're doing it as a consensus, we can do Knoxville 3, Madison 4.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Knox. I'm fine with Madison at 3 and Knox at 4. I'm cool with it. I can deal with that.
All right.
I can deal with that.
I can deal with that.
Yeah, again, that I feel like, like you guys said, top 4 is very interchangeable. And then you have this next tier where it's like NCFC is like there. And then you have like Greenville, Omaha. And then it's like and then Chattanooga and everything else is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not
honestly, that's what it is. The top 4, those top 4 teams got a lot of their work done early. Now they're trying to build out the rest of the bench and whatever. Then you got Greenville, who's starting to, and North Carolina, who's starting to figure out, like, all right, let's finish out the 11. And then below that, you kind of got the rest of the teams are kind of like, all right, I guess we'll start signing people. Maybe this is a thing.
Go off of that for like the League 2 coach thing. That's still 12 to 14 matches to manage. Are there coaches out there that are actually coaching all season?
Boy,
I think it's gonna be he's gonna coach solid 12 matches. The players are gonna be like, we're just gonna fucking do it for like 4, and then the rest is just gonna be everybody else fucking up.
I mean, we'll see.
My team.
It's gonna be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how one Knox approaches.
I don't know
what we're hearing is this 3 in the back system.
Which that's I have dangerous.
About
that is never ideal to do.
That's so dangerous, especially in this league where literally everyone is scoring. We had some of the highest scoring games last season.
Everyone playing so direct.
Yeah,
playing direct does not work. Trying to defend with 3 in the back doesn't work with the direct style play.
It does. You're gonna get burned, and oh my god. I don't recommend 0 out of 10. Several notes.
I've watched 2 years of 3 in the back. It's not fun. It doesn't go well.
There were 2 6-2 games last year. Don't do it. Don't.
Involved with the team that played 3 in the back.
There was a 5-5. There was 2 6-2s. There was a 7-1.
Most of those involved with the team that played 3 in the back on the losing side, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I will say this also. I'm very happy to see we have to do CBA coming place more. I'm also very excited to see that a lot of players, the level of play at USL League One has grown again, but also like guys are not getting long-term deals. You know, it's no longer the short-term thinking of, okay, I'm here for a year, I'm here for 10 months, then I'm on to the next thing. It's like now you can plan for 2 years. You can probably stay in a place, you know, which is, you know, I'm happy to see that within Richmond. It's like, you know, I'm not thinking like automatically thinking like Richmond's going to go out here and just gunshot the league, but it's also like, yo, we have a core that we've seen over the past 2-3 years. Now they're going into what, year 4 of knowing each other, you know, so that's pretty cool to see.
Well, Nazim Bartman said that back at the end of last year. He was like, the difference between a Richmond, a Greenville, and Omaha, like the difference is those guys have played with each other. The chemistry is so much higher because they played together and know how they play.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the difference. That's why, getting these 2-3 year contracts is going to be huge because you bring back these guys and they know how to play with each other, and it's just plug and play. You're just plugging in whatever gaps are there. That's going to be huge that's why I think with Greenville, I can see them doing well again because they brought back a core guys that know how to play with each other and and they do it well.
I mean, honestly, essentially, it comes down to also when we talk about it, like in terms of transfers, like it's no longer like, oh, okay, I can just wait for the guy to run out his contract and decide I'm going to free. Obviously, you still see that, because it's the manner of lower league soccer. It happens in England, it happens in Scotland, it happens in France. Guys sign one-time deals, they want to show what they can do, and then eventually get moved to the next step. But for guys that are like, either like I'm comfortable here, I want to play here, or I'm getting paid that, long-term money, if a team comes in and be like, yo, we want to say, for instance, a team comes in and say, hey, we're going to get Neil Vigneault. They're going to have to pay a transfer fee to get him to break that contract. You know what I'm saying? And that only does good for the league because now it grows into another level where,
again, we just saw with Omaha, they had a guy on contract. Minnesota decided to draft him. I still don't understand how the fuck that worked.
Yeah,
but that's just a great example of like Omaha had it, and it's like you need to pay if you want this guy. And Minnesota paid. And that's going to be huge for Omaha because that is a lot of money coming in that they can use either to build out whatever infrastructure they need, an academy, bring in players. They have that money now, and that's huge. And I mean, we were talking about a $40,000 transfer being a big deal, and now it's like we're getting to triple, like 6 figures.
Yeah. Same thing. Ethan Bryan going to Sporting KC too. It's not, not the same kind of money. I think it's like 75,000.
But it's still
6 figures, but it's still like money. Lower. Yeah, it's still good money. Like that.
That's still money that 2 years ago he wouldn't have gotten that. Like Richmond would not have seen that money.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But getting 100,000 for a kid, like a guy that won Young Player of the Year in USL League One. Matter of fact, both of the guys that were in the race for Young Player of the Year have now moved on, which is really interesting, cool to see.
Wait, who was the other one? Oh, yeah.
Jim. It was him, Ethan Bryan, and Omar Cease.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from him, so we don't know where he's going.
He came back. No, he's back in Charlotte.
Oh, he came back? Okay. He came back. All right. So, it's interesting to see that dynamic and what's going on there. Just, overall growth of the league is growing. Even if you want to look at teams like a Charlotte or like a Fuego, even though we had them ranked low in our power rankings, it's still like guys are going there playing well and then getting that move on up to either like a Charlotte FC or Cheney getting his big money move to Forward Madison. Like you're starting to see that inner growth within the league and then multiple other leagues, which is good to see. Yeah, 75K. Yeah, it's at least worth three players on a minimum in this league. Or you take that money and flip it into infrastructure.
Okay.
Flip it into infrastructure, Like, I'm pretty sure if NOCO could really be like, all right, we're going to put Ivan Power in the market, you get what? 60, 70, 80 grand? You take
somewhere around that.
Yeah, you take 40,000 of that and put it in the stadium? You don't mean to tell me that don't help NOCO, like, be settled?
It could help them do something. It could help them stay at a place longer than 2 games.
Yeah. Oh, and you asked where we getting transfer numbers from? Really, it comes from like Transfer Mark, and then you just try to ballpark it based on how much the guy is worth.
Transfer Market, or hopefully you have a source that might have a number.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You try to just bookmark it. Like, now, if you're like Eboni and saying somebody in the league worth $1 million, you're absolutely wrong. We're not listening to that.
Hey, whoa. We're getting there.
It's not that there isn't someone that's worth $1 million. It's that who she thought was worth $1 million was the problem.
Who did she? I can't remember who she thought was worth $1 million. Who was it?
It was what's his face? It was an NCFC player. I know that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm always bet on my guys. But who was it?
But it wasn't even the right guy.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't Nick Holiday. I know that for sure.
He might be worth it now.
So right now, the highest marked guy on transfer market in terms of market value is Keziah Sterling he's worth $300K. Trevor Mbuyu second.
It was worth $1 million.
Okay. Sam Brotherton is third.
I think
Ivan Power comes in at 250. So I was way off.
Hold on. Sam Brotherton is third in the league for highest.
I can show you right now. Hold on.
Being a international will help your value. But again, but here's the thing: transfer market doesn't follow.
Minneapolis said Debo was only 50. You're lying. There's no way he was only 50.
But the thing with transfer market is I don't think they cover the league well enough to get the actual Because you think of Sterling, you're looking at Sterling's background. You're looking at where he played, where he was. Like, this is a guy that made an appearance in the Champions League that automatically inflates it. Sam Brotherton had played for the New Zealand national team. That automatically inflates the number.
It's no way how he is the 8th most expensive player in the league. It's no way.
Right.
Chef so is that it's 8. It's no way.
No.
He's higher ranked than Bolaños? Absolutely no way.
But that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm saying.
Wrong.
I'm not basing it off of that because no. There's probably 2 or 3 players that are actually feasibly could go $1 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's not that many.
It's crazy. So yeah, look.
Damn, that's fucked up. Juan Agudelo is still 300,000.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ain't no way.
Wow.
Ain't no way.
In 2015, maybe in 2015.
Whole site broke.
Hell, maybe FIFA 12.
Nah, FIFA 12, he was way too expensive. He was too young. They were boosting that number up.
You're right, Kyle. Yeah, like some of them come from agents and whatnot. The hard thing is about lower league soccer, definitely here in America, is like it's hard to figure out how much players are earning and transfers. Like you'll always see, we have sold this player for beep.
For an undisclosed fee that is the league record. Okay, but what was the old record?
Like, give us some context here.
But it's weird because I feel like after 2019, like when Joey Gallardo and Brian Silvestre both, like we had a number.
Well, Joey's that we found out because Real Monarch said they paid $7K, which still pisses me off to this fucking day.
But I'm just saying, like, those are the only 2 where we actually got a number. And that was after year 1.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten a number since.
Was that Brian Silvestre from NCFC?
Madison, he went from Madison to Miami FC.
He went from NCFC to...
Well, yes, it's that same Brian Silvestre,
Florida.
but...
I mean, like, okay, so that figure that you're...
Yeah, the transfer was from Madison to Miami FC. And at the time, that was the league record. And I don't know. It's definitely been broken since then.
Mm-hmm.
But that, like, we knew it was like, I think it was like 40K or something. Like, we had a number.
So right now, the top 3 recorded transfers that we got a fee for, Brian Silvestre, 18K, Joe Gallardo, 7K, Connor Antley, 5K. And that's all 2019, 2020.
I was really off on those numbers. Good Lord.
Yeah. That's it.
But and we know the number has continuously gone up. Like since that, like between Micheletto, Bryant, Leonard, Jiba, Bosua, or Carvajal, like whatever Torment. I'm pretty sure Torment has broken their own record like the last 3 transfers.
Oh, had to. Yeah.
So like I wish we could get. I somewhat get like try not to put the pressure or whatever, but it's also like, what the hell are we doing? Why do we have to have an undisclosed?
Man, Fuck that. I want that pressure. I want to know how much is Emmy truly worth. Emmy at least worth. Hell, if Emmy ain't the top rank, Emmy got to be at least worth $500K. He got to at least be worth $500,000.
When I'm thinking of players that could go for $1 million transfer, he is one of those.
Yeah, like there's maybe only two, and that's Keziah and him. That's it.
I could see Nick Holiday or someone at like a young player at NCFC. I could see it.
Oh yeah, Nick unbiased.
He's a
I
goalkeeper.
can see
I
Nick
don't see
going
goalkeepers.
for.
You don't normally see goalkeepers going for that high unless they're playing at MLS.
I could see an MLS.
He's going overseas.
I mean, yeah, true.
No, I could definitely see Nick Holiday or what's his face? The other Molina? No.
Rincon could go for quite a bit. He
Him.
is so young, but so
that like those two, Sterling,
he's so
Emmy.
good.
That's probably it. That's it.
Yeah. And Emmy, it's for Emmy, you're paying for what he's done before in the past because he's 20.
So we're giving him a Kobe contract?
Oh hell yeah! I'm fine. Look, as a Richmond Kickers fan, you give Emmy wherever the fuck he want. You did, man. Him, and yeah. He get the Kobe deal. He can do whatever.
At this point,
Akira got 1 year left, so I think Akira's going to go.
He gets the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, but Emmy get the Kobe contract. Emmy can be 35. We'll wheel his ass out there. That's fine. I don't give a damn. That man won 3 MVPs back to back, 3 Golden Boots back to back. Sir, this field is yours. You can do whatever you want. He can go in there. He can go out on that field and take a dog stole shit. It is his field. He can do whatever he wants. It is his, and I would defend that man like he is my child. You know that parent that comes to school and defend their child, knowing that they done wrong? That's me. Emmy can go in here and bitch smack 3 center backs. They was roughing them up. He didn't do nothing. He ain't hurt nobody.
That might have to be a future episode. Who is the club's closest Kobe deal player? Past or present. That has to be a future episode.
Yeah, that is.
Mine spans like 4 leagues though. So
okay.
It's
but currently right now, who's that guy you're like, all right, we giving him the Kobe deal?
On my team? I mean, the only person that's been there that long is Nick. Or Gary.
That boy that killed Kobe deal. That was type of the fuck out of this development. Don't get that boy that. I'll be mad as hell if I find out y'all saw Nick Holiday take 8-year deal.
I mean, had he not left, Eric Leonard, I was going to say, had he not left, Eric Leonard would have gotten it for Madison.
So low-key.
If Nazmi hadn't retired, it'd be Nazmi for sure.
Yeah, if Turbo and Eric didn't leave, it would have been one of those two easily.
When y'all said Eric went to Chicago Fire, I was like, oh shit, he really going to big time MLS. And then I realized it was Chicago Fire too, and I was like, bro, you 27. Why you what?
Look, if there is a team that all you need is one out of form player injury and you can make it up there immediately, it is Chicago Fire. It is the trash fire. All it takes is Chizios having a day off, and Eric Leonard might be going right there to the first team.
Look,
who else they got a center back?
I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm just when I thought y'all said he was going to the Fire, I was like, oh, he's going up to the first team, and then I saw it was Chicago Fire too, and I was like, bro, you 27, stay your ass in Madison and get this Kobe deal.
Look, you can't blame him if he's if you have a chance to go to MLS, going through Chicago is it's a lot easier path.
I guess.
Like, you're not dealing with, like, Chicago's got an academy, but what other team is going to be bad enough? And also, I mean, it made sense.
All right, well, we'll see.
And the money is good. Can't argue with the money and playing close to your hometown.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't get mad at Payne nor Chrysler. Like, if the money there, take it. I ain't gonna be mad at you. I'm gonna cuss you out.
Hashtag get your money.
I'm gonna love it. Yeah, go get your money. Guys, it's a pleasure doing the show with y'all. It's good. First show in a long, long time.
Shook off some rust. We're ready to go.
So good.
We probably won't do another show for a while. Maybe. I don't know.
It took us like a month to get this one scheduled and going. Yeah, it's gonna.
It did. But yeah. So as always, listeners, we just want to say thank you.
Before we go.
Big thing.
Well,
big thing.
We gotta introduce. We've got a new website. We're hoping to get some content out there for you guys. Some more video analysis, some new vibes, some new chaos. Hopefully a new Walking 90 derby to come into play. We got some big things coming up for this show because, we got.
Exactly. I will gladly be your host as always again. Hopefully we can keep the show under an hour and a half.
No, we will not. Like, let's stop.
Never.
What's up? Oh, update on the NoCo Stadium situation. There's a dome where they can play soccer.
Is this some Michigan Star shit? Look, what the fuck? Right.
There is a dome. All I'm saying is there is a soccer field. It's in a dome.
You know what, everyone? Have a wonderful night. We just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to our show, because without you, we couldn't do this. As Eb said, support us. There's not a lot of us out here covering the league, folks. You got us, you got the independent podcast covering the teams, and then you got, by the way, I want to shout about League One Updater, doing a fantastic job, has a nice website. Just released their first podcast as well. Kane Kicks Lex. Tyler's podcast up there covering the Lexington. I don't know. Is anyone doing One Ducks yet?
I'm sure they got someone doing something.
I haven't seen anything.
They got an active SG. I'm sure someone might be doing something.
So yeah, we just want to, honestly, shout out to everyone covering the league. It's hard work. It's long hours. It sucks, but stick with it. This year is going to be amazing. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We got a lot of amazing stuff going on. So as always, from us to you, have a wonderful day. And remember, get your money, but just be aware of the cuss out that's going to happen. See you guys next week. We'll holler at y'all. Easy.
Why did you say next week?